Good morning. Our Mosey today is going to be inside our new kitchen. Finally, people have been asking about this, and today's the day. In July of 2019, we decided for various reasons that it was time to renovate the clearings kitchen, which is the lower level of the lodge. It's essentially the same physical space it's been since 1942, with, of course, improvements over the years, but it was time for a complete renovation. And when our last group, our fall work week group, left on the morning of November 1st of 2019, we got to work and didn't finish it until sometime in May. Our initial plans were to finish it by the first week of April or so, because we thought we needed it by the end of April, but you all know what happened. So we were able to give the contractors a little bit of leeway, and they took it, and we finished it sometime in mid-May. Let's take a look. So here we are inside our new kitchen. Looks a lot different, a lot more stainless steel, that's for sure, and that's by code. Of course, state code for commercial kitchens has changed drastically over the years. And that was part of our decision to renovate. We had an especially difficult inspection in June of 2019, and that was one of the catalysts for doing this project. The most interesting part of the project was to take a crawl space. If you can see back where the ovens are, that was not part of the kitchen before we did this. There was about 150 square foot area back there that was just a crawl space. You could get in through a small screen door, get on the ladder to do it, and there was some infrastructure, some pipes and things in there, and some electric wiring, but it was not usable space, and we decided right away that we would, if we could, without structurally damaging the building, excavate that so we could have more square footage in here. Also, in the old days, back here, around right here probably, you had to step up into a back room about 10 inches, and we took that floor out and leveled it, took all on one level. So it was an amazing excavation project. They brought in a small backhoe with a bucket about that wide, maybe 15 inches wide or so. And it was a track vehicle, and they could fold up the tracks and get through our back door with that vehicle, with that backhoe. They were in here taking one bucket at a time, all this rubble and cobble. This is an old beach ridge here. And they had a power wheelbarrow. And we could load that up one load at a time and run that out to dump trucks that would then haul it away. So that took several weeks to get this whole thing excavated out. But we felt we had to do that in order to get more space in here. And that was kind of fun to watch too. And in the process of kind of tearing that section apart, taking the walls down, this fell out. We assume it's a sketch that Jen Jensen did. It's a very crude sketch of the lodge, and as he envisioned it ended up being a little different than this. But we're assuming this is a Jen Jensen sketch. So this is going to find an honored place to hang in here somewhere at some point, but pretty cool that we found that. Way back in what was once the far, far corner of the kitchen storage area where the furnace used to be and a bunch of storage shelves, is now where we have our walk-in cooler and walk-in freezer. This is the cooler right here. It's been a huge improvement for the kitchen. You can have this, and then over here, the cooler, very efficient, much better than the old collection of coolers and freezers, and several of them were home-style freezers and refrigerators that we couldn't have anymore. That was one of the code changes, and one of the catalysts to do this project. And just on this side, further into the kitchen from the cooler and freezer and water heater, and this used to be in that crawl space that we excavated, is where we have our new gas stove and our 2 convection ovens, and this monster hood Again, that had to meet code and state engineering standards. This was quite a project to get this thing designed and built and installed. But we had to have it. It was one of those things when we first started thinking about this project in the summer of 2019. We had no idea that something like this would be involved, but it was because it had to be. But a nice space for our kitchen staff to make all their scrumptious food. As I said, lots of stainless steel. All the work surfaces by code have to be stainless steel. We have to also have this 3-compartment sink by code, of course, all stainless steel. The floor is this kind of rubberized material, easy to clean, easy on the people's legs as they stand here for long periods of time in the kitchen. So that was a major improvement from the old floor. The one piece of equipment that we kept and reused is our commercial dishwasher, which isn't that old. But it used to be over there. Now it's over here looking out. So when you're doing dishes, you're looking out at this beautiful view over Ellison Bay and Ellison Bluff. We did also get a new dumbwaiter. We weren't going to initially. We were going to reuse the old one. There's a lot of nostalgia with the old dumbwaiter and the way it sounds with the rope as it moves up and down. I still have the original instruction manual for the 1942 dumbwaiter in my office, made in Philadelphia. But here's the new one, of course, with the double, again, up to code. Stainless steel, automatic, much safer. The old one, a couple times in the history of the old dumbwaiter, the rope broke while somebody was using it, and that could be dangerous. So we did, in the end, decide to get a new dumbwaiter. The bathroom in the old kitchen was, and I'm not kidding, probably maybe 6 feet long and probably 4 feet wide. It was a small bathroom. State code required an accessible bathroom for our renovation. So we have about 4 times more bathroom space, and we've used it up with our washer and dryer and some cleaning storage. But this was a bit of a surprise, and we had to chew up a lot more of our kitchen square footage by having an accessible bathroom. But it's nice, and I'm sure the staff appreciates it. And over here, we created a little room for all of our mechanicals. We've got our furnaces in here, and our electric panel, a bunch of the duct work, and a bunch of the plumbing. So that all is out of sight, out of mind, in a nice, convenient place back here. The one change up in the dining room, and this was needed for several years before, and we just decided to do it, is new carpeting. So these are those 2-foot by 2-foot carpet squares that are set down, and if we get a big stain or burn or something on one of them, we can just pull it up and put in the new one. We have extras that we bought for that purpose. So a nice new carpet upstairs in the dining room. The big improvement outside the lodge is the new flagstone walk. We knew that this whole area from down by the linen room up to the kitchen was just going to be torn to shreds by construction equipment and vehicles, and it was. Brian had quite a job reseeding the lawn back in spring. But we decided to, and we talked about this for a couple of years, Eric and I, about making a wider flagstone path that was mortared so that we didn't have weeds coming up in the middle and we didn't have rocks shifting. So we put in this 5.5 foot wide flagstone path, mortared, and it's on a cement base, so it's really stable. And people that were here this summer and fall for retreats really liked it.